And I want to pose a question. Are the readers to blame? Hey, hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and look, we've got shelves. Don't get it twisted, it's still chaos in here, but we're making progress. That's not the point of the video today. We're here to address an issue that has been ongoing. So obviously, for years, there have been bookish events, and I unfortunately have never been to one. The closest I got was attending New York Comic-Con and like seeing a few like vendors and authors there, but never a specifically book event. I was supposed to go to BookCon this year, but that didn't happen. So I did have some FOMO seeing some of the content from it, a little less, especially just the sheer amount of people. I don't know if I would have been able to really get to anyone I wanted to, even just like trying to wait in line, because it just seemed like a lot of people. But I did a lot of videos, I think, on events from last year, bookish events of varying size, and then it's seeming to continue this year with BookCon. Problems with the Polycon. There was it called Chocolate City Lit Fest? Like a black bookish event. And I'm like, is the problem the readers? Is it the authors? Or is it the event coordinators, event planners? And honestly, I'm going to tell you my opinion, and I would like to know yours, especially if you have gone to events, because I'm obviously getting all this information online. I have not witnessed this in person. And now there are posts, there's threads, there's little clipped videos, there's different things online. But I'm just going to give you what I think. I think the major problem is the event coordinators and then the reader. And I'm sure that there's authors in there that have some culpability for some things that happen, or maybe, maybe they were rude to a reader or something. But I think I'm sorry, in this one, I just think they are the least bit of this problem. Now, event coordinators obviously are going to take the cake from me, because they're the people in charge of planning these things, especially massive ones. BookCon, they did take a break because they were doing BookCon 2020, COVID happened, and then they canceled BookCon. This was the first one back. But still, they are like, the company that owns it is a massive company. The tickets were pretty pricey, and they sold a lot of them and then sold more tickets. So they had a lot of money. And then a Polycon has been happening for years. So it's not always these really small or new conventions. I think some of the videos I did last year were new events or smaller ones, but it does not seem to discriminate. It seems like from well-established large events, small new events, and everything in between, there seems to be issues with the event planners and coordinators, either not calculating that they have way too many people for the space that they have contracted out, which sounds like that was an issue for BookCon, or not fully, or getting these large spaces and not being able to decorate them and like actually host the things that they have marketed towards their audiences, like some of the ones I talked about last year, especially these ones that have like the fantasy ball element. I think that's supposed to be something you go into a room and it's like very decorated to make you feel like you're in a fantasy atmosphere, and not just contracting out a ballroom or a conference room at a hotel and calling it a day. The recent thing with the Polycon was they were supposed to have this ball, and it ended up being in the hallway of this hotel or convention center, wherever they were. So that seems to be a problem. Again, not calculating enough attendees, having enough food. That has been a problem around a lot of these. Having proper ADA accommodations for these events is restricting readers to not like be able to carry carts or pull carts. There's various reasons for that for various events, but that also makes it harder for people who may have a physical disability. So it's just like all of these things across all of these events are things that should follow an event coordinator. That is your expertise. So you're supposed to know all of these things, the ins and outs. You're supposed to think of everything. You're supposed to have a DJ. You're supposed to make sure you have enough space. You're supposed to make sure things are decorated, have enough food, have these things set in place in advance, and contracts, and paying people on time. So I think the bulk issue seems to be these event coordinators. Now with the events that have been going on for a while and are well funded, high attendance, I don't understand what the issue is going there. I don't know if people are just trying to cut corners because things are getting more expensive, but these readers are still paying a lot of money to come there for the ticket. Then usually you're in contract with a hotel or a convention center or whatever. They're getting hotels, they're flying in. Part of that event planning is also calculating the cost and making sure it's something you can put on. So that's, again, your fault. Prices are going up, unfortunately, but if you want to continue to host event, then you need to not cut corners, and you need to pay vendors and pay for things so that people can come to these events and actually have a good time. Think about the amount of authors you're inviting and their level of popularity and how many people, and obviously you can't get a gauge of how many people are coming to see a specific author unless like you have it as a ticketed event. But I keep hearing also about logistics and the way the lines are set up and timing. Like authors are supposed to sign for this amount of time, but their lines are so long and nobody is coming in to maintain that and be like, hey, we're cutting this line off here because she's got to go, or she needs a lunch break or something like that. That is all part of the event coordinating. Now, pump your brakes, because the readers can't get off too easy, because I have seen too many things by the readers who are attending these events also. So y'all also bear some culpability. And actually, as a reader, I'm embarrassed. And the more people act like this, I'm like, authors are going to stop coming to these events, and then they may just start petering out because so many authors are pulling out or not agreeing to be at events because of the nasty, atrocious reader behavior. I probably mentioned this in a video before, but someone apparently printed out negative reviews about a book and then had that same book for the author to sign. Why would you do that? I heard of shoving and verbal abuse to people at BookCon for ARC drops, and people also complaining that publishers didn't bring enough ARCs. They are advanced reader copies. They're already a limited amount. If you think a publisher is supposed to bring, I don't know, 1,000 ARCs, that defeats the purpose, because then who's going to buy the book if everybody has a free ARC? Just for a lot of those people to then jump online and put those ARCs up for sale. It's actually disgusting behavior. You're gonna shove and berate people to get an ARC, and then some of you are gonna go online and sell it. You're disgusting. And even if you weren't selling it, you just wanted it to read, it's never that serious. It is never that serious for a goddamn ARC. I understand a highly anticipated book, maybe you've been waiting for a while and you really want a copy of it. Okay, guess what? The book comes out and you can borrow it from your library or you can buy it yourself. Getting an ARC is not the only way that you get to read that book. So assaulting people, verbally assaulting people, is absurd behavior to get a fucking book. Free, advanced copy, whatever it is crazy. What else? Obviously, in videos I posted last year, there were like verbal and sexual assault to some people at some of these cons, because people just don't know how to act. Some of the people in like the dark romance community, and again I said some because that's not everybody, but are just acting a mess. I think people forget that authors are humans and they're not robots, and so people who get upset about printed or digital signatures on books and they want it hand signed, like I can't imagine having to sign that many books. Like, and they're also writing, so like typing a lot to write the books for you, and you don't want to think about that. Or the person who went on TikTok and posted a snippet of her interaction with Tracy Dion and said like, y'all's favorite author, basically it's like, I cried because of this interaction. And it's just really confusing, because one, you don't show the whole clip, and it also doesn't seem like she was being nasty. Like, also, this is BookCon, she may have been tired and maybe she just didn't have a grin on her face. It's just like, I don't know what you guys expect. You expect perfection. You want books that are perfectly written, but also are coming out at a speed so you don't have to wait if it's a book in a series, or you want another book, or you want the book signed but it has to be hand signed. It can't be a digital sign. You want a special edition, but you also want an ARC, but you also want to go to this convention, and you also want it to be a certain price, and you also want to get the VIP, and you also want to do all these things, and you deserve a picture, and you deserve a conversation, and you deserve this merchandise, and you deserve, and you deserve, and you just like, you guys, it's kind of ridiculous. I think there is obviously a symbiotic relationship between authors and readers, and there can be some really awesome things that happen. You know, them coming to these conventions, you get to talk, or getting your things signed by them, getting to tell them how much you love a story. Obviously, they are, some of them, able to make their living full time as a writer. I'm sure that it's amazing to hear people profess and gush to you how much they love your stories, but like, while their job is to write books, and then some of them attend these events, we still have no right as readers to demand so much from them. To demand respect, to not act a fool towards a reader, to not go after people who review their books and they don't like what they review. Of course, that is not acceptable. But to demand that they're at these events and that they, you know, perform in the ways that you want them to perform is outrageous. And it needs to stop, or we're gonna see less and less events. They're gonna have less and less authors, and then y'all are gonna be mad about that too. So that's my take. I don't know if it is because I haven't been to a bookish event, but I feel like before, when I knew of BookCon was the main one that I knew about, I don't feel like I heard this much stuff. And it could be, you know, I don't know, maybe because I'm in the bookish space now, so my algorithms are more curate, or, you know, feeding me more reactions and stuff to that. Like, I know BookCon has had its issues and has been packed for a long time, but I'm like, is it getting worse, or am I just seeing more that I didn't see before? And it seems like it's getting worse, but I could be wrong. Some people think maybe the addition of all the people who have been newer readers and like in the book talk space, mainly, maybe they're the ones coming in with inappropriate behavior, and that's probably likely, but I doubt that it's exclusively them. And I'm sure there are some very veteran readers acting a fool online and in person at these events, and it's always one person or a small group of people that tend to ruin things for others. So I don't know, I would just encourage your friends, anyone you know who goes to the events, and make sure they're, I don't know, being on their best behavior, being patient, being gracious, realizing authors get tired too, and that they're human. And then also, finally, that the event coordinators really need to get the fuck together. That's first and foremost. Y'all need to get the fuck together, stop cutting corners, and actually do your fucking job. Because I want to one day be able to go to a freaking bookish event. Sheesh. And like, not have it be a goddamn mosh pit trying to get somewhere and where I'm gonna catch an elbow to the eye. Is that too much to ask? Apparently. That's it. Those are my thoughts. I would love to know yours. If you think this is a newer issue, or that we're just seeing more of it because of social media, and do you think it is more a reader's fault, event coordinator, or authors? I love to hear the arguments. Keep it cute, keep it respectful. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed, hydrated, moisturized, and sunscreen. I'll see you in my next one. Bye. Oh. I think that's a bee, but for some reason the shadow looked real big. And I was like, what the fuck?